Hello, and welcome back to Open Everyone. You know, always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at Bronxnet TV, and while you're there, tweet me too at Rhina Valentin. Our second guest is acclaimed novelist, essayist, screenplay writer, oral storyteller, and a Cornell professor hailing from Spanish Harlem via Ecuador. He's written several books, but he's mostly known for his first book, the classic Bodega Dreams, a story the New York Times called an immigrant classic. And here today to talk about the inspiration behind his book and the impact it has had on numerous generations of students, we welcome the infamous Ernesto Quiñonez.
Thanks for inviting me.
He's like, no hay pa tanto, nena.
No, dame más.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming all the way down from Cornell to be with us here in the Bronx today.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you for this jewel of a book that you have created for our community. And how many years has this been going now?
Close to 20.
20. You don't even, you look 20.
Shakira keeps me young.
Shakira.
I wake her up and say, go to the piano and write a song.
And then you sure?
Sometimes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she sings My Hips Don't Lie. Blushing. Gotcha. All right, so 20 years. 20 years. What inspired this book 20 years ago?
Well, you know, I wanted to tell the story of Spanish Harlem as well as stories from me, you know, my hopes, my dreams, my fears. So I set them inside the life of Julio Mercado, who is a CUNY student and lives with Blanca. And I think many of us from neighborhoods like El Barrio, neighborhoods like the South Bronx, Bushwick, Bed-Stuy, especially in those days and before gentrification, we had to somehow travel a path of family and legitimacy and yet still keep our friends who were not exactly in that path. They were in the path of crime and maybe things that weren't exactly correct, but they were still your friends. So you still wanted to stay close to them as well, but at the same time, don't cross over that line. So it's very hard sometimes for us, especially young men, to actually stay, let's say, straight and at the same time keep their friends. So I wanted to write about that experience from my side.
When you say straight, just to be clear, we're not talking about sexual orientation. We're talking about
whatever tickles your pickle.
Oh my goodness, I can't with you.
I meant straight with the law.
I know,
Oh,
but
okay.
I just want to be clear so that they understand that that's what we were referencing. I mean, it doesn't matter to me either, but.
Well, you know, the new rainbow, you know, cover is good. It shows that, you know, we believe and we support.
I love.
And everybody's good.
I love, right. Well, because that's right. It's all about colors.
That's right.
And variety.
Sí,
Okay,
claro.
so back to the story.
Yeah, Nelson tells the story of Willie Bodega, who is an ex-young lord who is now a crime lord, but he has a vision, and what he does with his money is that he's actually buying abandoned buildings that the city's not renovating and is renting them low and cheap to the residents of El Barrio, and he's paying their children's tuition. And his vision is that he'll have a professional class born and bred from El Barrio of doctors, lawyers, administrators who actually stay in El Barrio and will rise the neighborhood up.
So how close is this to your life?
The first chapter is pretty much my life, and then the other sprinkled around.
It's sprinkled and yeah, I know, I just pried, right? But the truth is that being a Barrio girl, because I'm originally from El Barrio, I understand that whole street family and your home family and how you have to walk that line and you have to kind of like just find the balance, right? Because you have to kind of work both sides, because when you're out in the street, these are the people that are going to take care of you. And then, of course, you want to make sure that you're a contributing citizen to your community. That's the theme for today, or a good contribution. I mean, in either way, it's about elevation, but it's the way in which one elevates.
Yes. And how you somehow find some middle ground to be also street and also you know, find your own sort of legitimacy. For example, you mentioned the street and the home. There's a lot of curses in Bodega Dreams, but they never happen at home because we don't curse at home when we're with our parents. We do not. We curse when we're in the street. So you see Chino cursing only in the street. He does not curse when he's at home with his wife.
Right, and that, because that's a language within itself.
Right, exactly.
Right, what do they call it now, Ebonics? You're a college professor. Come on, you gonna tell me you don't keep up?
I'm just a spy in their country, man.
That's good.
I'll bill her later. I've given her all these lines. All this dead air.
I know. Yeah, oh my gosh, he's my director now too. No, but I hear you because the truth is that this book is still relevant now, and unfortunately, you know, we've had incidents within the urban community in which they're losing ballots. Let's say. Right.
Yeah. You know, what it makes me proud really about this book is the way the community has embraced it, and when I hear people. And especially boys. And the reason I mention boys is because boys don't like to read, you know? So when they actually read something, it really excites me. And the fact that they're reading my book makes me so happy. And hopefully this will lead them to read some more, you know? And sometimes it happens, not frequently, but it does happen. I get a lot of young guys in the street say, "Are you Ernesto Quiñonez?" Usually I say, "Do I owe you money?" You know, and they say, no, I don't know. And they say, I went to college because of Bodega Dreams. I'm going to college because of Bodega Dreams. I'm applying to college because of Bodega Dreams. And I say, you know what? I can die. This is it. This is what you do it for. The awards, the acclaim, you know, that if it comes, but this is your Guggenheims. These are your Pulitzers. These young boys saying, I went to college because of Bodega Dreams. And sometimes at Cornell, I get students who knock at my door and they say, you know, I'm here because of Bodega Dreams. And I say, thank you, that makes me happy. I'm here because of Bodega Dreams too. They wouldn't have hired me. But so I owe a lot to the book as well as they do.
That's so lovely. I really appreciate your humility. I mean, you've transformed so many lives in 20 years. And how do you feel walking around carrying that?
That's what makes me happy more than anything. You know, I was at Bronxnet, the store at 127 Lincoln Avenue, and they have these hoodies, Bodega Dreams hoodies.
Nice.
That he said, you know, you inspire me to create some art and I was like, that's what it's about, you know, touching someone and actually your story staying with them so that they can create their own stories, their own art. Get my high.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and so right now we have it in English, we have it in Spanish. Like, what would you like to leave our viewers with that may not be familiar with Bodega Dreams? I doubt they're not familiar, but if they're not, we're introducing them to it.
I'd like to leave our viewers with, you know, there's a lot of stories within our own cultures. There's a lot of story in our own ethnicities. There's no need for vampires and zombies. The magic is within our own culture. We have coquis, we have vejigantes. You know, we have a lot of myth within our own culture. So if you want to be an artist or if you just want to entertain yourself instead of checking out someone else's culture, which is fine, you should branch out, but always start at home. See what are your own ethnicities, myths. And I do this exercise at Cornell with my students, and the Asian Americans have no problems. They have their myths. They go to ghosts and stuff like that. The Japanese Americans have no problems. The Latinos have no problems. They have La Llorona and all of that stuff. The white kids, they're like, well, I don't have myths. I'm like, where were you from? New Jersey. Where are your parents from? Austria. I'm like, there's tons of myths in Austria. Yeah, they don't know their own myths.
Right.
And they're basically just so American. And the American myth is superheroes and stuff like in the West. But that's not us, you know. We have our own myths. So check out your own stories. Check out your own culture.
Even if you mix, like
if you mix, it's even better.
Right, because you're Puerto Rican and Ecuadorian.
Yes,
I forgot to mention that.
Then you have two. You have two cultures to draw from. So.
And marry them within yourself.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's true love.
True love.
You'll never get divorced.
I love it.
Yes.
You do have great lines. We're going to talk after. Woo, you guys, okay. Ernesto Quiñonez here on
Thank
set.
you for having me.
Thank you for being here and blessing us with your presence. And you guys for Bodega Dreams, that can be found at any local bookstore as well as Barnes & Noble. And of course, it's online, available on Amazon. And make sure to get your copy because Bodega Dreams is a classic must-have. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we sit down with actor Victor Cruz about his new recurring role in the new Netflix series, The Good Cop. You don't want to miss that. Don't go anywhere.